showcase the benefits
is because there's music in the video.
For future human spaceflight missions. The data from Orion, sent by radio signals or laser links, is massive. The mission is gathering images, data.
All right, we're almost
while also
5 minutes into our no signal
and crew voice files. All of that data gets processed here on Earth, where systems compress it for efficiency. In the future, we'll upgrade these systems on Earth so that image and video clarity improve with each moon mission. With the Artemis II test flight, we're evaluating the communications infrastructure that will help carry us into the future as we explore the moon and journey forward to Mars.
We are now about 33 minutes until we expect to regain communications with the astronauts aboard Orion. And in the meantime, I've got Dr. Kelsey Young, Artemis Science Flight Operations Lead.
Let's
here with
go.
us.
Let's go,
Thanks
women.
for joining me, Kelsey.
Thanks for having me. This is such an exciting day.
Oh, no kidding. It has been so cool to hear you communicating directly with the crew. And I know that you have been preparing for this for years. So I am so excited for you and for your team. So just to get into that background a little bit, tell me about your background and what you've been doing on console.
My background is as a field geologist. Actually, I studied impact cratering in the field for my PhD, so all these descriptions of impact craters have me just absolutely swooning. How I got into this, though, is, during my PhD, I got an internship at NASA and ultimately never left to integrate science into flight operations. So we developed the Science Officer Console, for which this is the first mission we're supporting. We developed the Science Evaluation Room that's right upstairs, and so it's so
developed the Science Evaluation Room.
Structure come to fruition.
This room was made by a woman, put together by a woman.
I would have to imagine so. And we've got a great view of the Science Evaluation Room right now. Is there anything that has stood out to your team so far?
Absolutely. So as you might have heard in some of the press briefings and
Rue, thank you for the 3 months in advance resub. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Rue, appreciate you. Dare Bear, thank you for 106. Steph Shane, thank you for the big resubs. Thank you both.
Just to highlight maybe one of them, we heard about greenish and brownish hues near Aristarchus, which is actually a feature that we can see here from the near side. And those greenish hues could actually tell us something about the volcanic evolution of that area. So you can bet that the science team is going to be prioritizing downlinking those images and the crew audio that we didn't hear that went into those recordings to learn a little bit more.
Wow, that is fascinating. I was hearing those colors and very interested just from a personal standpoint, because looking at the moon from, 250,000 miles away, we don't see green or brown. So just hearing that, them being so close and getting to see that, fascinating. And I know very exciting for you. So what are you expecting to see in the upcoming portion of the flyby?
The upcoming portion is actually going to be really exciting. So right now, as we speak, while folks in the room are kind of taking their, their stretch breaks and everything, the crew are still hard at work. They still have targets to image and describe during this LOS. But when we come out, the first thing, of course, we're going to hear about is Earthrise. We're really looking forward to hearing about the crew's experience with something that we can connect with and that, Apollo 8 brought us such amazing images from. But then we start to get into describing the Terminator, as well as looking for things like lofted dust, which tell us about the modern lunar environment. Then the vehicle's going to orient away from the moon for an hour and then pivot back for the eclipse observations, which is a whole different...
I could sit and listen to her talk all day, actually.
...that we're really looking forward to.
It's kind of nice that the crew will get a little break in there, because they have been hitting it hard today with photos and videos and annotations. What are you hoping that the crew sees coming up? Is it that lunar dust?
Oh my goodness, that's a hard question to answer.
What are you
We've already
hoping they
gotten
see?
such great descriptions. I mean, the Terminator seems to just be like one of their favorite things to look at and
Striking.
describe. So I feel like, that was something we were looking forward to. I feel like we've really gotten some great descriptions. So absolutely, I'm looking to the human moment of Earthrise. Lofted dust is an exciting one, and lofted dust will be a target for them in the right around the time of Earthrise, but again in the eclipse period. So I'm really looking forward to seeing. I mean, they've already highlighted just in the course of their flyby so far how the moon has changed, and this is going to be even more dramatic change to go from their end of this kind of lunar illuminated piece of the flyby into the eclipse time frame. And I can tell you they're going to be experiencing a very different moon during that time, and I can't wait to hear what their observations are.
Yeah, that's absolutely fascinating, and what a privilege that we get to do that on
So
this
in the
mission,
span of
because
30
that's not
minutes,
always the case. If we had launched on a different day other
these
than
4
April
human
1st or
beings floating
2nd,
behind the
we
moon
wouldn't have
now
gotten to see
are
that
going to
eclipse. Is
get
that right?
That's correct. April 1st
a
and 2nd.
solar eclipse with the moon and an
I was asked a
Earthrise.
lot in
Is
the
that
weeks
correct?
leading up to the launch, well, what's your favorite day? And my answer truly was there is no bad day to launch to the moon. We were going to get great science out of it no matter what, but it's a really neat opportunity to, bring the sun into the picture, bring different
10:48.
bodies into the picture while still literally keeping the moon
35
in
minutes
center
left,
stage.
or 20,
Fascinating.
25 minutes left.
So, what differences are we looking for at each site? We're hearing a lot of different terms. We're looking at craters, we're looking at mare. What are the differences that you're hoping to see?
We do have, as you highlight, kind of different prompts for each target. That's what they're looking at in their lunar targeting plan, which I know you've been showing. And we have even different prompts for the person with the really long lens on the camera versus the people with the unaided eye. And you've heard the crew
Bam
talk
Fox,
about,
W
oh my
Scientist,
goodness,
W
when I go
Artemis.
from one to the other, I can really detect
Thank you for the
different
resub, Bam Fox.
nuances. And that's something that we experienced in simulations, but hearing them actually, see it for real has been really gratifying. But we're looking for different things based on the target. Sometimes we're looking for color. Sometimes we're looking for texture. For the Terminator, we're looking at kind of what texture and morphologies pop out to you and what kind of diversity you see along the Terminator. You've heard, Victor especially make some comments about future impacts for exploration. So already I think that their descriptions in this first part of the flyby have told us something scientifically, but also about future surface missions.
Well, it was so interesting to hear Victor talking about he was imagining in his mind's eye being down on the surface and walking around.
That was wild hearing him say that.
And when we're thinking about targets, I know some of them are determined.
That's how you could
based
tell
on
he was
the
locked
launch
in.
day, because that determines the lunar illumination. So the ones that we're looking at today, how and why were these selected?
Such a wonderful question. This really gets at at the heart of some of our really highest priority science questions. Illumination conditions is a big one, right? So, of course, we need the targets that we're interested on the lunar feature to be illuminated by the sun in order to view them. But the timing in which they see them during the flyby enables us to ask different questions. So you heard in the pre-flyby crew conference talking about, well, the same pair, Reed and Jeremy, will get to actually look at Glushko crater twice, and that looking at it from different illumination angles allows us to understand that feature better and connect color and albedo with topography and morphology. Then you have other craters where you want to look at it with the sun shining on it obliquely versus straight on.
Wow.
And that tells you something different about the scientific objective that drove the target being on the targeting plan in the first place.
We've talked a little bit with the viewers today about what the crew is able to capture in this short time frame of those craters in different lighting conditions.
So,
could take
have a good one. Thanks for popping in.
Something robotic to be able to do based on attitude maneuvers and where the sun is at. So can you just talk a little bit about the importance of having both the robotic operation and having the crew?
Absolutely. We definitely don't want to minimize the impact of orbiting spacecraft. Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter is the one that's often referenced. Data from LRO and its payloads have really been instrumental in getting us, frankly, to this point for Artemis II and future missions. But the human experience, the crew observations that we've already been hearing about, it is such a perfect complement to the orbiting spacecraft data because they are able to have this unique perspective. They are far enough away where they can make these contextual observations. You've already heard it. How many times have we heard the crew and their science sit reps say, if I track this feature from all the way up here in the northern hemisphere down to the southern hemisphere, here are comparisons I can make. that right there is not something we had the ability to do with the Apollo missions. And it allows just literally in the blink of an eye to synthesize observations that it would take, a really significant effort to coordinate with different orbiting platforms. And they're making it like that.
Wow. It has been
So
very,
cool.
very exciting to hear all of their
That's so
calls so
cool.
far. And so I've heard they were able to capture every single target so far, too. Is that correct?
I think that's correct. And I think it's important also to remember that, and I know the science team is anxiously awaiting this. We've been hearing from the crew members who are not at the forward windows, right? Those crew who are, really in the thick of the observations, they are recording minutes-long observations per
This is a really
target
good point.
on their crew tablets. We will be getting those down starting here in a couple hours.
We're hearing,
and that's going to contain really meaty science information that we haven't heard live yet, and that's going to form the basis of my conversation with them tomorrow morning, where we're going to have a really deep dive into the science and absolutely nerd out about what they were able to do today. One of the most gratifying things for me today is hearing multiple crew members say, thank you for putting the discussion times in the targeting plan, because when we have had the ability to put multiple brains on a problem, we have elevated each other. And I'm looking forward to them, sleeping on it overnight and then us actually being able to really, truly have an elevated science discourse tomorrow.
Well, we're looking forward to it, too. And I cannot wait to hear everything.
It's just interesting to hear that every time we hear one of the crew talking about what they're seeing, they're not currently seeing it.
So, Kelsey,
We're hearing from the team that has just gotten back from the windows, who are now the backup. And while we're hearing them talk, the primary crew that is on the windows with the cameras, they're recording their observations. So they're getting the recorded Insta. We haven't heard any of their initial reactions when they're seeing the best stuff. That's going to be later, I think. What time is the debrief? Well, so the loss of signal is going to be like for 30, 40 minutes. Then they're going to, when we come out of loss of signal, I think they're still going to be pretty busy. I wonder if they'll play the primary window recordings. Yeah, I don't know how that works. I think all that's going to be uplinked once they return, honestly. Unless they can send it. I don't know. I don't know how the radio signal works in space. Literally have no idea. I mean, I have some idea, but not enough. So we won't yap with them until tomorrow. Well, so I think they send it compressed. Smart. Either way, it will be a little bit of time till we see the good shit, but we'll see it soon. But yeah, when we come out of the loss of signal, they're going to be looking at the Earthrise. They're going to be looking at the moon. They're going to be looking at the eclipse. And then they're going to probably be getting to their rest point. Looking at the moon, I'm not able to compute that there's people behind it right now. Yeah, does anyone have can y'all go see the moon? And just think about that for a sec. No, none of us on Earth will see the eclipse. Just them in space will see it. For us, the moon is below the Earth for us right now.
And we just heard confirmation here in Mission Control Houston that we have reached the closest point of our destination to the moon at MET 5 days, 25 minutes, and 34 seconds. And we anticipate the spacecraft's altitude is approximately 4,067 statute miles above the moon.
That is wild. That's just over the length of the United States. That's 1,000 miles longer than the length of the United States stood directly up. That's how far they're from the moon. That's crazy. That's right there.
We're continuing to track what the crew is doing while around the other side of the moon. They are continuing to take pictures of the moon, the Earth now out of sight. What they're in right now is a crew choice event. The science team has encouraged them to find interesting features on the surface, to take photos of those, and describe why they were interesting.
I cannot wait to hear what they're saying right now.
Toward next, just momentarily, will be impact flashes. They've got a few minutes allotted to look at the darkest portions of the moon. They're interested in short-lived flashes on the lunar surface because these would be caused by impact bombardment. After their impact flash targeting, the team is interested in if the crew can see lofted lunar dust. This would only be visible just before Earthrise. Now 20 minutes until we expect to regain communications with integrity and the astronauts for Artemis 2.
Stefik, I have no idea, bro. At their closest approach, they'll be 1.9 lunar diameters away from the moon. What's a lunar diameter? Oh, wait, that's the diameter of the moon. So they're 1.9 moon diameters away from the moon? Ah, that's cool. It's a shame all of this AI and the Earth of flat. It's a shame you couldn't string together like the most basic sentence in front of everyone when we were all watching.
We're live in Mission Control Houston at NASA's Johnson Space Center, but there's a team over 750 miles away also monitoring today's operations. And of course, just like us, they are in LOS, or loss of signal, with the spacecraft. This is LUCA, the Lunar Utilization Control Area, and it's joined by LISA, the Lander Engineering Support Area, which are twin control rooms that will support missions and operations in lunar orbit or on the moon's surface in real time at NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville, Alabama.
Do you think the moon? Yeah, they'll see the moon on the way back.
The SLS Engineering Support
They see both.
Wow, and the POIC.
Remember when I thought the moon rotated like this?
Station is monitored.
Why would it do that? Why would in any scientific reason explain why would the moon do this?
Astronauts on the moon.
I said it with my full chest, and I was like, I did it. That's it.
In the LUCA will use the facility to
Even the memory of that
kind science operations to better understand the deep space effects of microgravity and radiation on the crew's physiology, immune systems, and ability to complete various tasks.
And it's clipped. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm down here. I can't see any clips from down here. Sorry, caught. Can't see the clips from down here. Whoops. Guess I'll just stay down here.
Members of the NASA Human Landing System Mission Insights Support Team, a group of engineers, safety leads, flight operations experts, and technical authorities will work in the LISA. There, they will monitor lander systems in real time and be involved in key decisions.
Shift your camera so you sit in one of those empty chairs.
Teams are using the LISA during Artemis 2 to observe mission operations and using the opportunity to inform and prepare for future crewed landings to the moon's surface.
Guys, I got a question. Guys, my computer won't turn on. I promise I wasn't looking at anything sus. My computer, can some IT please? My computer will not turn on. I'm in mission control. It's off. I didn't look at anything sus, if you were going to ask. Help! Yes, sir, right here. What the hell's wrong with you, sir? Good God. That was a perfect look around. Hey, thanks, man.
We now expect to regain communications with the astronauts aboard Orion in about 17 minutes. In the meantime, a little overview of how our crew members flying by the lunar far side
back up, I need space!
Between 4,000 and 9,000 miles are testing the capabilities of the Orion capsule. Artemis 2 visualization lead Ernie Wright has simulated views of the flyby using detailed topographic maps of the lunar terrain and photorealistic lighting scenarios. The Artemis 2 crew members have been using these visualizations to prepare for this historic mission, which is paving the way for future exploration of the moon's surface and beyond.
So the most exciting thing to me about Artemis 2 is just the return to the moon. We haven't been there in 50 years. Human eyes are going to see parts of the moon that haven't been seen by anyone before. It also recommits us to exploring the solar system in a way that we haven't in a long time. And I think it provides an opportunity for younger generations to understand the excitement of doing that kind of exploration. Artemis is our return to the moon after 50 years. The emphasis of Artemis is going to be, first of all, science,
to the moon.
But second of all, learning to sustain a presence on another world. First on the moon, but we're hoping that that's a stepping stone to Mars and other destinations in the solar system eventually. Artemis 2 will be a flyby mission. It's not going to land. We're testing all of the technology that we've created for flying to the moon since Apollo. A lot of systems have been modernized, and we need to make sure that all of those work. The astronauts will be looking out the window at parts of the moon.
Yeah, we are 15 minutes. Thank you, Chloe. 15 minutes, and we'll be able to hear from them again.
By the moon at an altitude that's much higher than Apollo's orbits, and so they will see the entire disk of the moon, including areas that are closer to both the North and South Pole that astronauts from Apollo never saw.
Look at this. That's crazy.
Depends on the lighting, which we really won't know until launch day, but we can practice with different lighting scenarios. It's hard for people to sort of picture that in their mind. If you can make a visualization of it, show them a movie, that helps everybody choose the targets and also practice aiming at those targets. The astronauts have actually been looking at these visualizations through the lens of the camera and practicing aiming at the various targets.
So cool.
This is a map of the surface of the moon, obviously, but it shows what the Apollo astronauts could see in sunlight while they were in orbit. The brighter parts are the parts that they could see.
So we straight up haven't seen parts of the moon. That is so crazy.
Area here and places that are
with humans' eyes.
Are places that they couldn't see.
Hey, Cass, welcome.
Either because it was nighttime there or because it was beyond the horizon of the astronauts. All of the Apollo flights orbited the moon at a distance of about 110 kilometers. Because the astronauts were flying at such a low altitude, their horizon was actually quite close and they couldn't see the North and South poles. And this whole area over here was not in sunlight at the time. And it includes this amazing impact feature here called Oriental. Oriental is a very large impact feature. It's about 650 kilometers wide. It's got multiple rings. These are rings that form like ripples in a pond from the impact, but of course it's on a huge scale. The middle of Oriental has that sort of dark basalt lava covering it, like the dark spots that we see on the near side. It's one of the biggest ones that's more on the far side than near. So seeing it with human eyes and sort of picking out features that maybe you don't even see in robotic cameras is an important goal for the mission.
Still mostly women in the science room.
This live view in the Science Evaluation Room, or the SIR, here at Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas, just down the hall from where we're at in the Artemis Mission Control Room. Teams continuing to monitor the flyby. The crew continues their observations of the moon, even though they are out of touch with Earth. We expect to hear from them in 12 minutes and 26 seconds. Again, this is approximately 40 minutes loss of signal while they are out of reach of the Deep Space Network. Right now, they are imaging or attempting to image lofted lunar dust. Throughout our coverage, we've talked a lot about the science and engineering behind today's lunar flyby, but we also spoke to the crew about what the moon means to them and how they see its place in human history.
Shout out Reed. Shout out Reed.
I remember being a little kid lying in bed at night and just looking out at the moon in whatever phase it was in, and I was thinking, man, my friends that live like 20 miles away, they can probably look out and see that same exact moon. And then when I was in the Navy and I would look out at the moon and I'd be halfway around the planet, and I would think, man, my brother can see that moon where he is, and he's halfway around the planet from where I am. And it's a connection of life on Earth. We can all look up and see that moon.
It represents history. It is a witness plate. Everything that's ever happened to the moon is still written on the moon. There's no processes of wind or change in the earth, geologic processes like we have here that change it. And something that's been telling and can read out the story of its own evolution, there's something beautiful about that.
I've also learned from my indigenous mentors that they refer to the moon as grandmother moon. So
Let's fucking go, Jeremy. That's what you should be saying right now.
The moon is responsible for the water in their community. The
Bro goes to the moon, amplifying indigenous voices. I mean, let's fucking go Canada.
The planet affects the tides. It's something that represents something different for each individual culture around the planet. And that's really neat because we all share that same moon.
This is actually a beautiful little piece on the moon.
We all have
Straight
seen
up.
the same side of the moon in different lighting conditions our whole lives. And so it seems very familiar to us, but it's also kind of unknown. When we get up close, some of the imagery that we'll get to describe and to share with people will be very unique. And that nature, both of those things being true about this one entity that we all know, just is really special.
It's
Dude,
just
they are
it's
forever the
a
coolest
symbol
fucking
of a
people ever.
symbol of both something that's in each of our hearts, but that's also represents exploration and reaching.
All right, we are 30 minutes into the no signal period, 30 minutes, 30 seconds.
Inside Artemis Mission Control here at Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. We are currently out of contact with the Artemis 2 crew. This was a planned, or not really a planned, but a tracked loss of signal that occurs when the crew flies behind the moon. We use the Deep Space Network to communicate with the crew, and when they are behind the moon, they are out of reach of that Deep Space Network. And when you consider our nonstop communications during the time in which we live, this is even more striking. For the Artemis 2 crew, they're only currently communicating with each other. Now, we expect to regain those communications in under 9 minutes from now, and we also are hopeful for a view
That's
of
cute,
Earthrise.
Pips. Your dad used to
Despite
pick
being
you
out
up
of
so you could touch the
communication,
moon.
The crew is continuously capturing imagery of their predetermined lunar targets.
What if the back of the moon's head low-key ugly? Man, For All Mankind keeps coming up, so watch it, chat. It's a good show. But yeah, Christina, first woman to the moon. Let's fucking go. Pumpkin Dee, I don't know if I've seen that. Is it a horror movie, a horror space movie, or is it non-horror space? Just regular sci-fi? "31, 32 minutes into the loss of signal." Did anyone else go outside when you were growing up just to look at the stars and try to look at all the different planets? Absolutely. I looked at the sky a ton growing up. I'd sit on my roof so much. We gotta return to that whimsical state of staring at the sky.
Now about 7 minutes, 25 seconds until we anticipate regaining communications with the Artemis 2 crew aboard.
The amount of
Orion.
like
In the
bang up
meantime,
math
the
that's
Artemis
happening
2
on this
Lunar Science Deputy Lead
mission.
Marie Henderson is trained these astronauts to capture and document their views of the lunar surface for all of us to enjoy back here on Earth.
I cannot wait to hear their voices when they get to the far side of the moon and I can hear them talk about seeing the moon out their window.
This moon day has had me crying all day long. Hey, Dink Fam and Julien, I hope everyone is having so much moon joy, Dink
Now I gotta hold on a second.
Yeah, I know, right? Every time you literally think or talk about it, it makes you emotional.
Wonderfully smart brains, our astronaut friends.
Emma, welcome. Yeah, we're still no contact.
The moon in multiple different ways. They can use
We're
their eyes,
6,
they'll
7
look
minutes
through
away
their
from
camera and
reconnection.
snap pictures and just looking out the window, getting that human experience. But during Apollo, the astronauts were so much closer to the lunar surface, our astronauts are going to be doing a flyby at a higher altitude, so they're going to be able to see the whole moon as a lunar disk on the lunar far side. That's a brand new, unique perspective that humans haven't been able to look at before. We are doing a lot of lunar geography training with them. They have
damn, she's so fucking cool, dude.
They can do that.
Damn, she is so cool.
You know, even if you're an astronaut, you still get homework. We actually get in the mock-up. In that enclosed physical space, we have to think through the hardware that they have, the cameras, the computers, their microphones to make these observations. There's 4 windows up front. Through one of those windows, one of our astronauts will be using a Nikon D5 camera with an 80 to 400
Nikon D5. So I did hear it right. It wasn't a 5D.
And actually take more detailed observations of the surface. It's almost like looking through a pair of binoculars as well. It's just like being a geologist out in the field. They're telling us what they're seeing, looking for colors, textures.
Like the amount of geology training that they had them do is so
the
cool.
region that we're having them look at to the regions that are around them.
Teaching them how to talk about what they, educating them on what they're looking at.
Putting them all on the timeline of how they're going to be observed, and then taking the first
Huey, get the hell out of here, bro. Huey with the gifted subs times 25?
300 hours total, and they only went to the equator. That's like going to places that were safer landing sites, and they only saw so little, 300 hours total.
Huey,
and so we have so much more to explore and so much more to learn.
Fucking goat.
And we are the beginning.
Thank you so much, Huey. Thank you for the 25 gifted subs from chat. If you were in chat and got a gifted sub from the wonderful Huey NV10, please make sure you say thank you in chat if you're comfy. Thank you, Huey. Thank you again. Tier 2, 39 months, Isabel. Thank you for that. Struggle Bus Driver, great name. Thank you for the 61. Cozy Brogy. Britt, hello. Thank you for the resub. Good to see you, Britt.
We are now
and Cass with the
4 minutes
66.
and 28 seconds until we expect to regain communication.
Do you think you can handle astronaut training? Is that what
flying
someone
aboard Orion on the Artemis 2 mission?
Hey man, I have no idea.
Flying behind the moon.
Put me in. We'll figure it out. See how those G-forces work.
At an MET, or mission elapsed time of 5 days, 25 minutes, and 34 seconds. We expect this was the point in which they made their closest approach, 4,067 statute miles above the lunar surface.
Ruby, hello. An internship at NASA. I mean, you heard them talk about how they start as interns and then they never leave, because this is what you get so inspired by space, by STEM, by exploration. You just reach a point where you're like, all right, that is literally the only thing I want to do. That's what I want to do. So you're a high school, college age kid, whatever. You get an internship. It only grows. Then you get a job offer. Then why would you ever go anywhere else? I mean, that's like, I understand it. What would compare to space travel, exploration,
Houston, but
science?
We are not the only room monitoring today's flyby. As you can see, this is the SIR, the Science Evaluation Room. It's in the same building and just down the hall. It's a multidisciplinary science team supporting the Artemis 2 crew in real time, including experts in lunar geology.
Wait, the Science Evaluation Room, SIR.
Volcanism, polar science, imaging, and visualization. You can see the SIR here.
Sir Dunk.
Science Evaluation Room. It's embedded within Mission Control to provide science input during live operations like what we see today. But additionally, the
like 2 minutes before signal comes back.
Room is a
2:20.
back room that processes data, evaluates imagery, and supports rapid analysis. We also have our science officer, Kelsey Young, here on console today. She's serving as the primary interface between the science team and the flight controllers, ensuring science priorities are represented during mission execution.
Oh yeah, there's a video in Dink Chat, if you feel like crying. It's when they named the crater Carol after Reed's wife. So, a minute and a half till reconnect.
Coming up on 1 minute and 36 seconds until we contact Orion. Meanwhile, aboard the spacecraft, the crew has continued executing their lunar flyby tasks. As we discussed earlier today, these activities have been precisely timelined, and this is the fourth of 5
1 minute
time during which the crew will be observing the moon from Orion's windows. At this time, pilot Victor Glover and mission specialist Christina Cook are observing the moon at windows 2 and 3.
I'm going to say something. I haven't gotten to see Hail Mary in 70 IMAX yet. It's going to hit different after this.
A blue shroud over the window, taking photos and using an 80 to 400 millimeter zoom lens, while the other astronaut is in window 3 using their portable computing device, also known as a PCD, to make annotations. And both of those crew members are making audio recordings of what they are seeing. They are wearing headsets connected to their PCDs, and those audio recordings are being sent to the science team tonight. We are not hearing those live. However, we have been hearing quite a lot of
that science team is going to be waiting on that. They're going to be like, come on.
Right now, the support team members are Reed Wiseman and Jeremy Hansen.
All right.
Those team members
regain signal in 3, 2.
Sit reps, situation reports, calling down a few times each hour to discuss what they're observing. And even though we're out of contact with them right now, they are still conducting those science sit reps as they'll be available once they come back around the moon. The situation reports include how the crew is positioned, any missed targets, or anything unexpected they saw. They're also including lunar target descriptions, any hardware issues, and their emotions and reactions. Again, we are standing by to acquire signal from the Orion spacecraft.
Oh my God. We're back. And they predicted exactly when it was going to happen. Math. We're a grain of rice out there. Someone stole my seat. Yeah, I got up. I figured it was going to be gone.
We're in the Artemis Mission Control Room at Johnson Space Center, getting our preliminary.
Nolly, I listened to it. It's so good.
Coming after a 40-minute loss of signal, during which the crew was flying behind the moon, out of contact with anyone on Earth.
God, look at us. Everything you've ever experienced is in that tiny little sliver, chap.
We are getting our first views from Orion after the loss of signal. Orion has come back around the other side of the moon, and that little crescent that you see is Earth, over 252,000 miles away. With this transit complete, lunar flyby
so we didn't fall out of a coconut
tree. Orion has also technically begun its journey home.
I want to hear their voices.
Right now, the crew are getting a few moments to enjoy and take photos of Earthrise for themselves, and we expect to contact them shortly. But we do have good signal coming from Orion.
That's incredible, dude. They went around the moon. Let's go. How'd they do that? How'd they do that? Enjoy the view, Integrity. Y'all have fucking earned it. Take your time. We'll be here. Have a moment. Imagine the moment they're having right now. Watching an Earthrise coming out from behind the dark side of the moon.
This view from inside the Orion spacecraft, all 4 astronauts now back on the other side of the moon and in contact with us on Earth. Their tasks for lunar flyby did not stop as they went behind the moon and out of contact with us.
I want to just again point out
to image some impact
how difficult of a job it is to narrate the way that Leah is narrating, and like 10 out of fucking 10. It is so good. It is so engaging, but not too much.
Right now,
it's just the right amount of information. Yeah, she's doing so good, bro.
After this target, they will get a short observation break. It's about an hour long, actually.
Houston, Integrity, comm check.
Integrity, we have you loud and clear. How many?
Houston, we have you the same, and it is so great to hear from Earth again. To Asia, Africa, and Oceania, we are looking back at you. We hear you can look up and see the moon right now. We see you too. When we burned this burn towards the moon, I said that we do not leave Earth, but we choose it. And that is true. We will explore, we will build ships, we will visit again. We will construct science outposts, we will drive rovers, we will do radio astronomy, we will found companies, we will bolster industry, we will inspire. But ultimately, we will always choose Earth. We will always choose each other.
Integrity from Earth, our single system, fragile and interconnected. We copy. Those of us that can are looking back.
Unreal.
We are happy to say we copy.
Oh my God, chat. The high fives. I just think our lives have been so the feeling of like, what the hell is the point? It's just been so
back to what she said just before translunar injection.
Everywhere, bro.
This burn, we do not leave Earth.
Like, just give me some purpose,
the
you know?
Translunar injection burn served as not only what put them on this trajectory to fly around the moon, but what also committed them to
like, make me feel like I'm proud of the Earth that I'm on, and this is the most proud I've ever felt. Like, this is so crazy, dude. Like, we're just so, our head is so in the fucking mud on Earth. Our proverbial head is just in the mud.
At this time,
and we needed Artemis to pull that shit out of the mud so we can look up to the sky and remember what the fuck we are actually doing. What are we doing?
Break following their very, very busy day, taking pictures, making annotations, making audio recordings.
And to those of us who are like present enough to look up right now, you should be so happy that you're
this observation break is also partially due to the fact that
you're giving yourself the gift of this pause in your life, and this pause and this moment where you're just not worried about all the shit that we're worried about all the time, and we're just
the first 2 minutes until the sun is completely covered by the moon, and then they have additional
looking out into space while these 4 people
we will
explore
have
the cosmos
with them during that eclipse time frame.
Did you know Artemis was a goddess? Wiki says she was a goddess of hunting, wilderness animals, transition, nature, vegetation, childbirth, and care of children and chastity.
Right now, so that its solar arrays are in the sun. This will help it charge the batteries needed to power it through that eclipse time frame.
Damn.
This view on your screen is a visualization The spacecraft now 4,224 miles away from the moon, and that number will now continue to grow, while the number of distance from Earth, 252,699 miles, will continue to shrink all the way until our crew is back home.
You have a tattoo of Artemis, lunar goddess. That's cool. Artemis tattoo era. Who's in? May they have a safe return. Godspeed. Yeah. I mean, we'll be watching, bro. I haven't turned this stream off, but yeah. Wow. I wish the moon was visible for me right now. It's below. Nina, don't worry. It will be visible soon. Don't you have the same name as Christina Cook? So you got that going for you too?
Again, we are MET, mission elapsed time, 5 days and 58 minutes since the launch of Artemis 2.
It's already almost been a week since we watched the launch. That doesn't feel right.
We have reestablished communications with the crew and the Orion spacecraft, now entering a little bit of a break while they are out of visibility, or the moon is out of their visibility. The spacecraft will be reoriented to view the moon ahead of an upcoming eclipse. This current attitude maneuver helps charge the solar arrays and batteries aboard Orion that will power them through the eclipse.
Love to get some charge while we're filming the most insane thing we've ever seen. It'll catch a little battery from the sun. I burnt my thumb pulling sweet potato out of the oven just now. Were you just like doing one of these? Like, sorry. She's like, what are you doing? Hi, Queen. What do you think of Artemis, baby?
Integrity, Houston. In mission control, all of your flight controllers and your flight director have flipped their Artemis 2 patches around. We are earthbound and ready to bring you home.
So they have patches that they flip around once they reach the moon. That's so cool.
That's great. Great to see the light of day as we head back to sea.
You know what's cool is like we're looking at a live feed of a room that has been recreated probably thousands of times in movies, and we're just looking at the real thing, doing what the movies are telling stories about. Might get her, fuck around and get a "We love you" from the moon tattoo. Chad, I encourage every single one of you to go get a tattoo to signify the Artemis mission, and if it feels important to you, you should definitely go through with that, because what a special commemoration to have on your body. I know I want one. There's so much to choose from. This has been like a unbelievable mission so far. We will always choose Earth. Oh, fuck. I want to cry when I hear that. That's good, actually. We will always choose Earth. That was bonkies, yeah. We all getting that tattoo then? Same time, same place. We'll all meet up. Group tattoo.
A very special moment just now in Mission Control, ahead of the crew's flight to Kennedy Space Center, and during one of their last sims or simulations here, they visited the Mission Control team in Artemis Mission Control in Houston and brought us each a patch. Everyone in the flight control room has had these on their signifiers at their console. On one side of the patch that you've probably seen is the moon with the Earth behind it. Now that we've passed behind the moon and we are returning home.
Damn, that's what they look like. That is so cool.
Instructed everyone in the room to switch their patch around so that the Earth is closer and the moon.
That is amazing.
We are really looking forward to seeing the Artemis 2 crew.
No offense, but that's how you know women are behind this mission, because that is thought through.
The flight control team here.
Ain't no man thought of the flipping of the patch.
As was instructed by the crew during that last sim, and we are counting down the days until they get home. They are now 5 days, 1 hour, and 3 minutes.
The patch is actually a very, very cool image too. Like both sides of the patch. Are they on their way back? They landed already. They're not landing. They are just looping around the moon to do some research, and then they're going to be landing in a couple of years. But they're also testing brand new flight systems that have never made it out into deep space yet. So this was all required, very much required, to take safe missions in the future seriously, to test the stuff that they're testing now. A couple of years. Yeah, like 28, I think. 28. They're going to try to go back up on Artemis 3 or 4. They do have designated sleep times. Yeah, you can see the whole schedule on the first live stream that I had up, which is just on YouTube. But it's someone described it as looking for a parking spot in a very scientific and very, very complicated way. That's what they're doing. They're and yeah, 2 years is nothing. That's like so close. But they're going to take all the data that they got from this mission, which is a wealth of information that we have not had, both because of modern technology and because we have humans out there observing, not just computers and cameras, and because we are looking at parts of the moon that have never ever been seen by human eyes ever before once in our history. So I don't think it will be the same crew. No, they rotate crews. They have a lot of qualified
joining me here
pilots and astronauts and
Mission Control. I have Angela Garcia, Artemis.
I also don't know. Maybe it will be the same crew, but I don't think it will be.
Angela?
It is an honor to be here. What a day. Everyone's been buzzing. I can't contain myself. So it's been a really awesome day.
So you're sitting on console at the science console now. Have you been in the SIR earlier today?
There's a lot going on. So I went here first, then I'm going to go there after.
All right, Integrity, we hear you. That was a little clipped, but I think we have a better link now. We experienced some blockage from a solar array. We moved it, and we are in bias tail to sun.
Okay, Houston, you're coming in loud and clear, and copy, we're in bias tail to sun now.
Affirm and Integrity.
The patch is available for pre-order on NASA's site. That's awesome.
We flipped our patches. Jeremy, we heard you call down, but you were clipped, and then we briefly lost comm. Glad we're back.
Okay, copy that. We were just excited that we got to share in that you, the MER, and Mission Control have flipped your patches around, and that side of the patch is getting to see the light of day. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Hearing that woman on the radio go, last communications was blocked. One of your solar arrays was in the way blocking the connection. We fixed it, so you're good.
Artemis
Like,
2 and the science preparation for the mission.
and no big deal.
Yes,
No
so
big deal.
I'm one of the 3
250,000 miles away.
Kelsey's been on console
Just gonna
all
fix
day.
your problem
I'll
real
take
quick.
over, kind of closer to the end of the day, and then Trevor Graff is on the planning shift, and so it's the 3 of us in this 24-hour cycle supporting the mission. And so the science officer console is a brand new console to Mission Control, and it's not every day that you get
Artemis 3 will try to get the first woman and first person to color on the moon. Well, then just keep the fucking damn same crew.
Milestone for us. And
Box has already been checked both. Nah, they want to give other people a chance.
Directorate and NASA have that they're going to be integrating science and maximizing science throughout Artemis. So it's really exciting. And then the science preparation. So I'm on the operations team, but I'm also on
Her
the
shirt
training
is
team.
fire.
So all the
The moon
incredible
pic.
training and shout outs that you've gotten today, it warms my heart. It warms everybody's heart in the science evaluation room. I promise you that. But so all the classroom training, the field training, the mission.
Jeremy's alternate was a female Canadian. I won't.
Part of all of it, and
Okay.
that is what we did to get the crew to be. They are a part of the science team, and they are the forefront, that nice edge, and they're just been doing such a great job today.
I know. I imagine that you have to be pretty proud of them. Their reports have been fantastic. So I would like to know a little bit about how you have developed procedures for this crew. What kind of science activities are they carrying out inside the spacecraft?
Yeah.
All right, you know what? Turns out I've been holding in a pee for a very long time, so I'm gonna go.
Challenge. I'd say the exploration science that we're doing is inherently pretty flexible, and operations is, I'd say, inherently has more structure and rigidity. And so to marry the two and to operationalize the science that we want to get done has been a challenge. But I think we've been able to go through these processes and create good products at the end and have a good plan. And yeah, it's been really great. What was the second part of your question?
Just what kind of these science activities that they're performing, which of those have you really had a hand in?
Yeah, so a lot of the procedures help organize what the crew is doing in the cabin. And I know we've talked a lot about, what they've been doing, and they've been doing a lot, and it's been a little dark, so I can re-explain what some of those things that they're doing. So the observation blocks are about an hour long, and the crew is organized, the 4 crew members are organized into 2 pairs of 2, the window team and the cabin team. And the lunar targeting package that you've been showing up and that the crew have on their handheld tablets is really the instructions for the window team. So the window team, the 2 crew members are looking out the window. One has the camera with the long lens, one has, they're just looking out the window with their unaided eye, and they're taking these detailed observations. And then halfway in that observation block, they do the window team position swap. So that's what Capcom's been calling out, and they'll switch positions, so each crew member has a chance to have that long lens. And then that's just what the window team is doing. There's also the cabin team, where they also have duties that they're doing. We're asking a lot of the crew in this time. And then the cabin team, they have the interior camera, and they're taking images inside the cabin. They're also supporting the window team, where, you've heard some call outs where looking out at the bright moon and then looking inside the dark cabin and looking at their LED screen is a lot. So the cabin team is also helping support, target, and guide the window team into specific targets on their plan. They're also helping call out these science situational reps. So they're looking out a different window and listening in to what the crew who are really down and in the science on the window team are doing, and they're giving us insight. And those recordings that the window team is doing are going to be uplinked or downlinked overnight, and we're going to be able to chew on that data. But yeah, they're helping. They're doing a lot, and so making sure we have a plan that's flexible, but also make sure that we check off all those boxes was really important.
So tell me a little bit more. You talked earlier about the analogs that the crew has done. What kind of analogs or environments were really useful for this?
Yeah, so for procedure development, right, you have so many different environments that you can do. You have classroom, like we said, you have the Orion mock-up, you have simulations, and at least for developing the plan, we kind of did it in a tiered approach, because each of those different analog environments helps us answer a slightly different question and has a little bit of a higher fidelity. So we would start with the classroom. So we would we would just get into a classroom, we would put all the hardware on the table, and then we'd almost role play of like, you be Victor, you be Reed, you be Jeremy, and I'll be Christina, and like, let's just do the plan how we think we should do it, write that down, and then just keep iterating on that, and then
Integrity Houston for a tag up pre-forward link LOS in place of the Flight Director Conference.
Okay, Jenny, we're ready.
All right, crew, I'm going to roll through a couple of topics here. The first two are for timeline. First of all, Reed for your toilet maintenance. It is a shortened toilet maintenance where you do not have to do the oxone changeout. That portion of the procedure is canceled. Victor, you have an HHP stop activity on your timeline. We need you to perform that as scheduled for bandwidth reasons. For your next portion of the flyby, in particular the eclipse, we want to remind you that you can take off the eclipse glasses when the sun sets and you are simply looking at the corona. And then finally, for the D5 with the long or zoom lens, which is set for solar corona, we want to remind you that when you are capturing Earth shine, you will likely have to adjust the exposure. That's all I have for you. Let me know if you have anything for us.
Okay, Houston, we copy all. Thanks for those words, Jenny.
All right, just a quick call up to the crew ahead of a forward link LOS, meaning that we won't be communicating with them, but we will be receiving their communications and data during that time frame. So, Angela, we were talking about analog environments. You were telling me about the classroom and getting in there and pretending who's Victor, who's Reed. Tell me more about this.
Yeah, it works pretty well. So you're going to do the plan how you expect it to be, and then once we finalize that plan, we'll give it to a completely new group of people and have them practice it, and then they'll be like, these steps don't make sense, and we'll reiterate on it over and over. Then we'll take it to a higher fidelity environment like the Orion mock-up, and we'll do the same thing because that volume is smaller, the window placement, their seating, what things have we forgotten with this addition of this environment. And then once we reiterate on that, we'll take it then, we'll give it to the crew and have them execute off of it during mission simulations. That's the highest fidelity that we can do before we send it to space. So this is the first time we've had to do this because we're a brand new console, and it just sparks so many neurons of like, how are we going to do this for surface missions and integrate this in so many different ways. So excited to have kicked off this process, but there's so much more to come.
Fascinating. And I think it was really well thought out too, because each crew member gets an opportunity to do each task. And so you're getting different perspectives and different insights from each crew member, maybe even about the same target, but something that one person sees could be completely different than something another person notices. So we also know that Artemis True
Imagine a rat using an
has
AirPod
traveled.
as a
They're
real
now on their way
cane.
home, but they traveled farther from the moon than the Apollo missions did. So what makes that vantage point scientifically interesting?
Yeah, observations are so fundamental in the scientific toolkit, particularly observations from different perspectives, different scales, and with different techniques. And so we really tried to make the plan to optimize those. There's pros and cons for all those things for this mission, so we really just focused the plan to have all those pros. So in terms of scale, this zoomed out scale, you can learn different things. This different perspectives, so their perspective is Kelsey talked about photometry around when they orbit the moon. And then also just their different the different things they're able to observe. So yeah, let me talk a little bit about scale, because I think observations at different scales, you can gain a lot of different information. So like, for example, if you were an astronaut on the surface looking at a rock, and you describe at this micro scale. So in training, we kind of talk about observations from micro to macro, or from outcrop to orbit. So looking at, you know, a rock at this scale, you can describe its components, you can describe what it's made of and its colors and its minerals. And you're like, okay, and this rock came from this boulder, and it's this part of this boulder, and these are the different things that I'm observing around. It gives me context to this sample. And then you zoom out a little bit more, and you're like, okay, well, I can see that this boulder came from, you know, it rolled from this mountain ridge, or this high ridge feature. And then because I can see the trail that it came from, okay, now let me describe this ridge, and, you know, different parts in it, and maybe other boulders that I'm seeing. And then you zoom out further of the orbit scale, and you're like, this ridge is a part of this larger crater. So all of those different steps give you different information. And so that's why observations at these different scales and these different perspectives are so important. So this zoomed out kind of far view is this full lunar disk view. It's the full lunar, you know, on Earth we see the full lunar disk as well, but now we're able to see it on the far side, and we're able to see it, you know, all at the same time, which enables the astronauts to compare very quickly to different parts of the surface. And the color particularly is very compelling, because you can just be able to very quickly compare from, you know, 3 different regions. Is it in the same family? Is this actually a little bit different? You know, compare that to what they see in their orbital data that they have access to on their portable computers, and really just be able to tease out that nuance and information.
Yeah, we heard them make a lot of those connections.
Hello, chat.
Today, and especially the color. We talked with Kelsey about this a little bit, just how exciting it was to hear the browns and greens and things like that. I cannot wait to see those pictures. Yeah. So one last question. We are coming up on the last lunar flyby observation block, and this is when we are going into a solar...
The final observation block.
Tell me what you're interested in the crew learning during that time.
We got cornered?
Yeah. So the data set...
Oh my God, believers rise.
There's so many things. How to pick one. So I'd say the thing that I'm most interested in seeing is some of their annotations that they're taking. So in this opportunity, it's a very dynamic type of experience, in that we don't normally see this activity. And so being able to have crew observe the solar corona, and then also annotate it in their on their portable computing device is just such a unique thing that humans can give to missions, and also particularly being able to annotate what they're observing.
It's possible the confusion about going around the moon twice. Maybe maybe something was written about how they were going to see 2 sides of the moon, because they are. Maybe that's, I don't know, maybe that's causing confusion too, I don't know. But they're only doing 1 loop around the moon this mission.
Instruments, and so personally, I'm really excited to see some of these annotations and to see how that develops over time, because you've heard a lot of descriptions.
Feeling very overwhelmed,
I think,
but this is putting
when
everything in
people are
perspective.
describing
What a
something
privilege
that's
it is to
unique
share
and
this
different,
with you all.
You can interpret it differently. But if you're drawing and you're marking, particularly just going back to like the color provinces, for example, and those boundaries, you know exactly what they meant. And really, I'm just very excited about those annotations. There's been some famous annotations that the Apollo crew have made, particularly about solar coronas and the structures and lofted dust that have given a lot of debate within the scientific community of they're observing this phenomenon, and now it's our job to hypothesize of like, why are they observing this? Like, what is going on? So I think that's just a really cool part of exploration and science, and this beautiful thing that we're about to do.
Well, now you've got me excited about the annotations too. I mean, I've been excited about the pictures and the audio, but now
don't sleep on the annotations. I am very excited to see these little sketches that they're able to draw out, and we have pictures that they can just draw right on as like, this particular thing is different than what we've seen. So I'm excited about that.
I'm excited too. Angela Garcia, thank you so much for joining us today, and have a great time tonight on Console.
Thank you, and you've been doing a great job, and it's so excited to see where we go from here.
Thank you so much.
Dapping them up. All right. This is fun. So I'm going to try to be planning more earlier streams. Maybe not weekly, but I'll try to put them into the schedule on a regular enough basis where I'm getting to see more of you who don't get to be here for the evening broadcasts. I also just love the daytime energy when I can plan for it.
We will be back up with you in about an hour during the eclipse on Madrid.
I'm going to send you guys somewhere and I'm going to go make some dinner. That's another thing. I can cook dinner when it's a daytime stream. Amazing. Chat, thank you for spending one of, if not the most memorable stream I've ever been a part of in recent memory or ever. The hyperfixation has definitely just kind of skyrocketed, no pun intended, because of rockets in the sky. But I've just enjoyed learning and just completely immersing myself in the Artemis moment that we're in right now with you. So I wanted to say, just really from the bottom of my heart, thank you for sharing this excitement. Thank you for making me feel not crazy for being this excited about this and emotional and affected. And I'm just like so happy that all of you also feel it. I feel so much today. I feel so much, and it's like just so grateful. So, I will see y'all tomorrow. And we will always choose Earth. All right. Good night, y'all.
The moon. So it's going to be a unique vantage point for our crew. But ahead of